Now, on the ongoing crisis in Bangladesh, US has urged democratic interim government in Bangladesh. US has been monitoring the situation in Bangladesh very closely. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has said that US has called long for democratic rights in Bangladesh. She has also expressed deep concerns about reports of casualties and injuries over the last weeks in Bangladesh. She has urged the interim government to carefully investigate all of the attacks. Let's in fact listen in to what she said.
So we're monitoring the situation in Bangladesh very closely. We have long called for respective democratic rights in Bangladesh, and we urge that the interim government formation be democratic and inclusive. We commend the army for the restraint they have showed. We encourage all parties to refrain from further violence and restore peace as quickly as possible. We express our deep concern and sadness about the reports of casualties and injuries over the weekend and past weeks, and we share our deepest condolences with those who lost loved ones and those who are suffering. It will be vital for the new government to carefully and credibly investigate all attacks and provide accountability. So we're monitoring the situation in Bangladesh very closely. We have long called for respective democratic rights in Bangladesh, and we urge that the interim government formation be democratic and inclusive. We commend the army for the restraint they have showed. We encourage all parties to refrain from further violence and restore peace as quickly as possible. We express our deep concern and sadness about the reports of casualties and injuries over the weekend and past weeks, and we share our deepest condolences with those who lost loved ones and those who are suffering. It will be vital for the new government to carefully and credibly investigate all attacks and provide accountability.
So there you heard, viewers, these are the statements that have been made by the US amidst unrest in Bangladesh. She stated that there have been a lot of casualties that have been reported, and there should be some there should be close observation of what exactly is taking place. There should be some controlling the situation is what the US is insinuating. Remember, viewers, this comes after as many as 300 casualties in Bangladesh. And recently we, of course, heard that there was a fire at a hotel that was owned by an Awami League leader. 27 people, unfortunately, were burnt alive. All right, my colleague Shubh is back with us on the broadcast to give us more on this. Shubh, the US has now issued a statement on the unrest in Bangladesh. If you could take our viewers through what it is that they are insinuating.
Yes, definitely. The White House is closely monitoring into this matter, and they have been urging that a democratic process is being followed. But what the critics are saying and what we are learning at this point, that in Bangladesh there have been very much uncertainties which US have been looking for. And if we talk about the official statement of US, then Karine Jean, which is the press secretary, had a press briefing on Tuesday wherever she have mentioned that that USA request for democratic and inclusive interim government formation, says the press secretary. And thereafter she have been saying that we are closely monitoring in this situation in the Bangladesh very closely. Whatever happening in Dhaka is being looked by US government, and we have been respecting for democratic rights in Bangladesh, and we urge the interim government to form as soon as possible. This is what the US have come up with. So basically a bilateral statement by US with lots of diplomatic ties, since there is new government formation in Bangladesh. So therefore every country is trying to have a bit good relations with Bangladesh. As Sheikh Hasina, who was there with more than 15 years, she had the prime minister tenure in Sri Lanka, and now when it's time for the change of government, so every country is urging for a democratic process to be followed, because what visuals are coming from Dhaka is alarming, since many Hindu temples have been deteriorated, they have been deconstructed, and people there are who have been in minorities. If we talk about Hindus, they are in 9.4% 1% they are in minorities and they have been suffering. This is what we are learning from Bangladesh media, and they have been continuously urging government to take measuring steps so that they can the situation is back to normal. And also would like to update that there is also Tarang Shakti exercise of Indian Air Force which is also going on, in which Bangladesh was supposed to take part in the phase 2. So it would be also interesting to know that will Bangladesh come to India for this Tarang Shakti, which would be happening in September. But what we are learning right now is US intervention saying that democratic process should be followed, and they have been condemning whatever is happening in Prime Minister's house of Sheikh Hasina. The visuals there have been covering in which they are being looting all the things which have been in the Prime Minister's house. So definitely the country is urging for a democratic process to be followed, Sabri.
Right, absolutely. Shubhi, you've of course given us an extensive understanding on what it is that the White House is insinuating, but also give our viewers an understanding on, of course, more and more international comments that are coming in. If you could give our viewers an understanding on that front as well.
Yes, definitely. If we talk about the international community is saying that there must be a democratic process which needs to be followed. If we talk about US have already given that statement. But countries like India, if we talk about India, Jai Shankar have been saying that we are closely monitoring into that situation, and we are having a word with Sheikh Hasina and the Bangladesh authorities, which have been sitting in the capital of Dhaka, so that they are having a word. But also, if we talk about China in a bigger diaspora, there have been speculations that China and Pakistan are the two countries which have, due to them, the protests have happened, and due to them, the government have been changed. This is what the speculations have been saying. A big funding by China and Pakistan is being said by some officials. And also, since it was a very big protest which have came after the Supreme Court judgment, although the reservation was revoked at that time, but when this protest have happened, it just haven't created a havoc in Dhaka, but also the situation in the capital have also been immersed. And the Prime Minister who was there, Sheikh Hasina, who was ruling there for more than 15 years, were rescued in less than 15 minutes to the national capital. It is very ironical to note that a day before, when she was having breakfast, she was the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, and today when she would be having her breakfast, she would be she would be the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh. And it would be very interesting and very ironical to note that the father of Bangladesh, who is being known, her father, his statue was completely demolished, which states so that is Bangladesh coming again to the Pakistan. So this is what the speculations are going on.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.